Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm back with another full set, and today we're going to do a spooky nail design in the spirit of September. This is the inspo for today's set, and it was actually voted on by you guys over on my Instagram. As you can see, it was like pretty clear that this one won. So yeah, I'm super excited to do that today. If you didn't already know, I'm letting you guys choose my fall and spooky nail designs this season. Each week I post 2 options on IG, and whichever one gets the most votes is the one I'll recreate on this channel. This week, the little ghosty was the winner. Right now I'm just going to remove my old set using the Jello nail system. These come off super easily. I don't know if it's because I'm starting to leave the 1-kill serum on for about 10 minutes, or maybe it's because I didn't use any primer underneath this set. It probably was a mix of both, but either way these peeled off like a dream, so that was awesome. But now that we've got a blank canvas, we're going to jump right into prep. I'm planning to keep this set on for about a week, so I'll be a little bit more thorough this time. First, I'm trimming down my natural nails as short as possible so that they don't peek out from underneath my gel extensions. This is especially important for this set since I'm going to have a jelly base color and I need to make sure that nothing shows underneath, so I'm just going to trim as much as possible. Then I'm going in with a glass hand file to smooth out all the ridges and sharp edges from clipping. Just gonna get everything nice and smooth for the next set. Next, I'm using a cuticle remover and applying it around my cuticle area. I let it sit for about 15 seconds before pushing them back with a cuticle pusher, and I'm just gonna do this on all the nails and really get into that cuticle. This step is so important if you want long-lasting retention and no lifting. You've seriously got to get rid of all that cuticle buildup. I swear it makes a huge difference. After I push them back, I wash my hands with soap and water to fully remove the serum. Then I like to go in and trim my cuticles. You don't have to do this at all. It's completely optional, but I just like a clean aesthetic look. Now I'm lightly roughening up the surface of my nails using a 180 grit buffing block. I could use a sanding band to speed this up, but I like to keep it gentle. Since I already removed my previous set, my nails are already pretty dried up, so I don't need to do a ton of buffing. I'm just removing any remaining shine from the nail plate. After that, I'm using the Model 1's 3-in-1 nail prep system. It works as a dehydrator, primer, and nail nourisher all in one. I applied 2 coats, letting each coat dry for about a minute. It evaporates pretty quickly, so you don't have to wait too much time between coats. Now I'm going in with the Jello peel off base coat because I definitely don't want to have to soak off these nails after just a week. I like to switch up my nails a lot, so this base coat definitely helps peel my nails off easily when I'm ready. I'm applying 2 coats of the Jello peel off base coat, curing for 60 seconds in between each coat. For the ghosty design, medium almond nail tips are a must, so I'm using these sculpted tips from Apres. For sizing, I'm actually going to size them to fit underneath my cuticle area because I'm going to do the overlay method. So I'm leaving a gap between my cuticle and nail and making sure that end point reaches sidewall to sidewall because we're going to fill that in with builder gel later, but make sure that the nail tip fits you perfectly from sidewall to sidewall and you're good to go. Once I found my sizes, I took a sanding band and lightly etched the inside of my nail tips at a low speed. This step will help the nails stay on longer and prevent them from popping off easily. You don't have to roughen it up too much, but just enough that you can see a difference. Now I'm going to use my little gooseneck nail lamp to glue my nail tips on my nails. I'm using the Model 1's gel glue, which is a glue that requires a UV lamp to cure. I'll start by spreading a thin layer of gel glue on the inside of my nail tip, right where my natural nail will meet the nail extension. Then I'm applying a small bead of extra product at the very edge, and this will help fill in the gap between my tip and the natural nail. Since I'm going to use sculpted nail tips, I'm adding a little bit more product than I normally would for flatter nail tips. That's because sculpted tips have a higher apex, so there's a slightly larger gap to fill. Once the glue is on, I apply the tip at a 45-degree angle, placing it just below my cuticle, about 1 centimeter down, because like I said, I'm going to do the overlay method. I chose to do the overlay method for this step because the tips are a little bit short on me, and I just wanted a little extra length, so just by leaving that little gap between your nail and the cuticle, the overlay method will help me do exactly that. Give me a little boost in length. I'll flash cure the tip for about 15 seconds just until it stays in place. Then I'll repeat the process on all of my nails. Once they're applied, I'll do a full cure with my big lamp for 90 seconds to make sure that the gel glue is completely set. Next, I'm using a fine grit sanding band to go around the cuticle area and blend the nail tips into my natural nails. I'm being really careful not to file off my Jello base because, like I said, I did the overlay method, so that Jello is exposed right now. I'm just focusing on filing the nail tip itself. I like to go around the nail a couple of times to make sure that the tip is really blended. That said, you just want to blend enough. Not too much because you don't want to accidentally file your nail plate or the Jello off. Basically, you're just removing that little ridge or transition from your natural nail to the extension, if that makes sense. And I'm working at a speed of 8,000 RPM. I also used the same sanding band to etch the surface of my nail tips, just to give them some grip before applying the gel product. Since this sanding band is small, I couldn't reach every area, so I went in later with a buffing block to finish the job. And of course, I used my hand file to round out that little pokey bit at the end of each nail tip, just to smooth the shape. Then I went ahead and cleansed the nails with my rubbing alcohol, removing all the dust from my nail tips, especially over the Jello base. Since the dust just likes to stick to that part, I just made sure to give it a good wipe down so everything was clean and ready for the next step. Now I'm going to be applying my builder gel as a base. I'm using these two from Madame Glam in the shades Light Beige and White. You could definitely use a gel polish if that's what you prefer, but I haven't had a chance to use these in a video yet, so I really wanted to, and I figured that right now would be the perfect time. I'm starting with the slip layer first. That's just a very thin layer of product that goes on the nail before the main bead, and it helps guide the product and lets it glide down the nail really smoothly. Then I dip my brush back into the bottle, pick up a larger amount of product, and float that bead down the nail to start building structure. I focus most of the product around my nail bed, and as I go towards the tip, I use a little bit less. After that, I flip my nail upside down and use a liner brush to move the product around and just create that perfect shape. This is where I realized that I forgot to seal in my cuticles, so I took a little bit of acetone and went over the edges. This just helps the tip blend into my natural nails even better and give them a much more smoother look, so it's hard to tell where the extension starts. Then I continued with the same process, slip layer first, then float the bead down the nail, and honestly the color was so beautiful. This builder gel definitely has a thicker consistency than rubber base. I actually find builder gel to be easier to work with for that reason, because when a product is super runny, you have to work really fast with it, but with builder gel, I can really take my time, and for that reason, I could just totally see myself doing this with my non-dominant hand. The only thing is, it doesn't self-level super quickly, so I had to keep my hand upside down and let gravity do its job for like a longer amount of time than normal, but other than that, it was pretty easy to work with. After applying the builder gel, I cured each nail in my lamp for 30 seconds before moving on to the next. I didn't give each one a full cure right away. I find that 30 seconds is enough to hold the shape while I work on the rest. Then once all the nails are done, I went back in and gave it a full cure after everything. That way I'm not sticking my hand in the lamp for just a minute each time I do a single nail. Once that was done, I was left with some light beige nails, plus one white accent nail for the little ghosty design. But I kind of felt like the light beige was just a little bit too sheer for my liking, so I decided to go in with a jelly topper and add a little bit more opacity, which I'm so glad I did. I used this shade from D&D called Sunset Beige. It's really similar to the original beige color that I was using, so it blended in beautifully. And this is how my base turned out. I'm literally obsessed. I think it's just the perfect amount of sheer, and that milky white color just looks so clean and soft. And now it's time for the art, which is the fun part and also kind of the intimidating part. I'm starting off with a white gel polish from Madame Glam. This one is called Perfect White. I'm going to load up my 12mm liner brush with the polish, evenly distributing the product along the bristles. And we're going to start with the Spiderweb French tip. Basically, you just want to start by drawing your French line, which is pretty easy, but if you mess up here like I did, you can kind of just wipe it clean and perfect that line. Honestly, my cleanup brush came so in clutch for this design. One thing I've learned about nail art is that you don't have to do it all in one go. You can definitely cure in between each step. That way, if you make a mistake, you don't have to wipe off the whole design and restart. So after I finished painting that smile line for my French tip, I cured it for 20 seconds just to lock it in place. And then I moved on to the rest of my spiderweb design. I started by painting a vertical line going down the center of my French. Then from that same center point on my smile line, I painted 2 diagonal lines and 2 horizontal lines symmetrically. Once I liked how it looked, I cured it again for 20 seconds just to set everything in before moving on. This way, when you're doing the actual spiderweb stuff, if you mess up, you can just wipe off that part without ruining the rest of the design. Now for the actual web, you're going to want to use a very thin brush. I was already using a pretty thin brush, so I just went ahead and kept this one. But if you used a thicker brush for the smile line, now would be a good time to switch it up. To make the web, you just want to connect the lines with small arched lines, almost like scallops. And that's what gives it that spiderweb shape. You can do as many rows as you'd like. If your nail is longer, you'll probably need more. But for this nail, I was happy with just 2 rows, and that was good enough. And again, if you mess up any of those little arches, it's no big deal because we cured it and you could just wipe it off. As long as you've cured the previous layers, you can just wipe off that mistake without affecting the rest. Now onto the spider nail, which is honestly the trickiest one for me. You'll definitely want to use a thin liner brush for this. I started by drawing the web strand from the spider hanging down, so just one vertical line going straight to the center of my nail. And once I liked how it looked, I cured it for 20 seconds. Then I moved on to drawing the legs using the white gel polish. You want to create 4 legs on each side. And I found it works best when I did a larger leg first and then that smaller one just next to it. So I dip my brush in the polish, draw the bigger leg, and then with whatever was left on my brush, I used that to draw the smaller one. That technique made it easier to control, especially for symmetry. I also cured in between sections too, because I was really trying to make the legs symmetrical as possible, and it was kind of tricky. And once the legs were done, I just slightly connected the larger legs a little bit so it didn't look kind of like stick figure-ish. I don't know, I just think it made it look a little bit more natural and less drawn on. And that's it for the legs. I added rhinestones for the spider body at the very end, so we'll get into that in a couple minutes. For the next nail, I did a regular French tip. I just freehanded the smile line and filled it in with white gel polish straight from the bottle. I made sure to really get into those edges and sidewalls of the nail before curing it, and I actually went in with 2 coats of white gel polish to get the maximum opacity. To create the blood nail, I mixed a red gel polish with just a little bit of black, or you could use brown gel polish as well. Lots of emphasis on the little bit because a tiny bit goes a really long way, so yeah, you don't need a lot of the black gel polish. What you want to do is repaint the smile line of your French tip. It can be as thin or as thick as you want. It's totally up to you and your style. And once you're happy with how it looks, you can cure it in place, or you could just move on straight to the blood tips if that's what you'd prefer. When I first tried this, I picked up some product on my liner brush, let it bulb at the tip, and then drag it up to make that little blood droplet. And I thought this would work, but it ended up looking a little bit too thick, and it's not really what I was looking for. So I tried something else. I basically did the same thing. I picked up the product on my brush, let it bulb at the tip, and then I decided to place that little bulb of polish directly on my French tip. Then I wiped off the excess polish from my brush and connected that little glob to the smile line. And it made it like really thin and precise, and it's exactly what I was going for. And that was pretty much it. Honestly, this one was probably my favorite nail to do because it was just super easy. Then you could just go ahead and cure that, and let's move on to the next nail. Now it's time to create that little ghosty. Basically, all I did was take some rhinestone glue from a cart and mixed it with a good amount of the leftover white gel polish on my palette. You want to have more rhinestone glue than gel polish because if you add too much polish, the rhinestone gel can get too loose. So it's all about keeping it the right viscosity. So have mostly rhinestone gel with just a little bit of polish to give it that tint. Then I loaded my brush with the mixture, letting it bulb at the tip and swiping it onto my nails like you see in the video. What I noticed is that just like with the blood drip, it got a little bit thick at the tip here. It wasn't much like the picture, and I wanted those thin lines at the very tip towards the head, but I couldn't quite get it there without my cleanup brush. I did recreate this on a press-on later to see if I could do anything different, and I found that just having product at the very tip of your brush and swiping it up gives you those really precise lines. So just keep that in mind. I didn't really know it in this clip as I was doing it, so I just kept cleaning it up, but that's totally okay. Also, make sure that you cure each of these lines of rhinestone gel right after you do them. In the original inspiration picture, I'm pretty sure they only used clear rhinestone gel, but I kind of wanted to elevate the design a little bit by adding a little bit of white. I feel like it gave it more dimension and shadow, but if you want to replicate the original, just use some clear rhinestone gel. Then I dotted on the eyes. I used a larger dotting tool for the base of my eye, and I cured that for 30 seconds. After that, I grabbed the teeniest tiny dotting tool and I dipped it in some white gel polish. I lightly tapped the excess off just so I can get the most tiny dots possible, and by dotting off the excess polish, you can make the cutest, smallest dots. Then to give our little ghostie the cutest rosy cheeks ever, we're going to use some pink gel polish. Of course, you can use any color that you want, but I'm using this one from Madame Glam in the shade Angel Wings. I just love this shade of pink. I put a tiny bit onto my glass palette, and then you're going to need some kind of sponge. I'm just going to use this eyeshadow brush applicator thing. I picked up a very tiny amount and gently tapped that onto my little ghost cheeks. Honestly, it's super easy and it was literally the best part of this nail set. We're not quite done yet though. I'm going to use a glossy top coat from Koopa to top coat and cure all of my nails except for my index finger. I'm going to leave that one out since I'm pretty much done with the rest of the nails. For the index finger, I'm taking 2 of the smallest red rhinestones that I have. So one is bigger and the other one is the smallest. And using some rhinestone glue, I'm gluing them onto the spider nail. I placed the larger rhinestone closer to the web and the smaller one at the bottom as the spider's head. To make these rhinestones last and stay put, I do 2 things. I add a little bit extra rhinestone gel before placing the charms so that it kind of overflows around the edges. Then I go over that with my spare top coat that I have from Koopa. It's basically the same as a regular top coat, but it's separate from my other top coats. This top coat is specifically used for nails with rhinestone gel. The rhinestone gel stays wet, and then they kind of mix and create like a thicker formula, and it just helps my rhinestones stick better. So right after I apply the rhinestones, I don't cure my rhinestone gel. Instead, I just put a layer of my top coat on. And yes, putting top coat on the rhinestones can dull the sparkle a little bit, but it's going to make them last really long and they practically won't come off. So it's just a little trick you can do if you have trouble keeping your rhinestones on. Lastly, I'm going to use some cuticle oil to rehydrate my nails. I'm using the Rose Blossom Cuticle Oil and it smells exactly like fresh roses. I love it so much. It's super refreshing and hydrating, especially after finishing a full set. And here are the finished nails. I'm literally so obsessed with this set. Honestly, these are the cutest Halloween nails ever, and they're super beginner friendly. I'm actually debating on doing something very similar to this as my official Halloween set because I just love these little ghosts so much. They're so adorable. But let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment down below, like this video, and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys all in my next one.